Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have Carl Radke from Summer House. I know we have had a lot of Summer House people on this season, but it's been that good of a season, so I want to have them all on. And I knew that I had to have Carl on before the end of the season because he has had such a huge season for a variety of reasons, some amazing and some heartbreaking. But I wanted to have him on so that he could talk about his own transformation. I've known Carl since the beginning of the first season of Summer House when I first interviewed him, Kyle, and Lauren Workis together. It was one of my probably earliest Bravo interviews ever. And just the trajectory that he's been on over the years, the ups and downs that I've seen him go through, and the amazing place that he is in now. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to tell him how amazing it's been. And to see the support from the Bravo community and his co-stars, and it's been amazing to see him sort of he came into this fifth season in a great place. Clearly, he was basically sober and he had his head on his shoulders, and he was a great place in work and all things considered in life. And then he had to watch his mom get married over Zoom. He couldn't be there in person, which was sad, but it also made for a really emotional, happy moment to sort of watch them talk about this really special moment in her life. I loved watching that, and I know a lot of other people did too. But then a couple weeks later, we watch him find out this, unimaginable news about his brother dying from an overdose, and it was heartbreaking. It was wrenching to watch, and to watch him go through that was just not easy. But imagine how not easy it was for him to go through it. But I think what's encouraging to see is the way that he has taken this, again, unimaginable situation and spinned it to take some positives from it and to turn it into something good. He is speaking out about addiction and mental health, and he's raising money, and he's really starting these conversations that weren't being had on this show before. And I just wanted to hear all about that. And he talked really in depthly about his own journey with sobriety and alcohol and mental health. And he said some things that I wasn't aware of. Kind of post fifth season's filming last summer, he was in his darkest place ever last fall in the winter, and then he has since become sober. He's at 99 days sober, at least at the recording of this interview. So it's just been, his transformation has been incredible over the years, and I wanted to talk to him about it. And he was really vulnerable and really open about it in this interview, and it was just awesome to hear and to hear his perspective on everything. It wasn't all about that stuff. I didn't want to get too far down the lane of the heartbreak that he had to go through with his brother, but we did talk about all the support that he has felt and kind of just how wildly amazing that's been. We also talked about, obviously, some of the drama, and we talked about his big blowout fight with Luke. We talked about sort of some of that vibey stuff with Sierra that he's been having this summer. We talked about Lindsay's love life and some of that. And just, it's just basically an update on all parts of Carl's life and sort of, reflecting on the past Summer House seasons and also looking forward to sort of what he wants for the show in the future. It's a really fun interview, and I think all Summer House fans will really love this. And because it's a little bit of a longer one, I'm not going to do too much more of an intro. But please enjoy my interview with Carl Radke from Summer House. Tune into the finale of season 5 tonight on Bravo at 9 p.m. And the reunion will follow that in subsequent weeks. And please, please, please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you've been liking these interviews, if you enjoy listening to this every week, which I hope you do, we'd be incredibly appreciative of any ratings or reviews that you can give us on Apple Podcasts, because it really does help us grow and get the word out there about what we're doing over here. Enjoy the interview with Carl Radke, and talk to you next week. All right, so we're here with Carl Radke from Summer House on Bravo. Carl, how's it going?
Going well, Gibson. Happy Friday.
Yeah, you too. How are you doing? This has been a big season for you for a lot of different reasons, but just how are you doing kind of now that we're at the tail end of it? It's aired, everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
How are you just holding up?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. I have a lot to be grateful for. I got my health. Work is going really well. I will say, the last year has been really hard for a lot of people. But for me, with, dealing with the loss of my brother, then having to relive it again on the show, certainly there's a silver lining. I think we're helping a lot of people by sharing it. And I certainly have generated and gained a lot of just confidence from being more open and honest about my own journey and my brother's. So it's been really hard, but honestly, I'm I'm in a really good place because of some of these things. So I'm trying to just be grateful for what I have.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's well said. It seems like you're at a place where, like you just said, it can just like continue to just like strengthen you to kind of, encounter these. I mean, like, again, reliving it can't be easy, but having to do that is just making you a stronger person. And so, I mean, I think everyone sees that. And so I'm glad to hear that that's how you see it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been hard, but I would say that, all my friends in the Bravo family, everybody's been amazing. I mean, I've had so many messages and things coming, for our family. So from the bottom of our hearts, I mean, I got to thank everybody. So thank you for even caring.
Of course. And how's your mom doing? I mean, like, she's in her first year of a new marriage. We all saw that moment happening, which is really emotional and awesome to see. How is she doing?
She's doing great.
She's a Bravo legend at this point. I mean, come on, Sharon.
Everybody loves Sharon. She's doing well. Thanks for asking. Her and Lou, my stepdad, they got married, and obviously it was just a crazy time for a lot of things, but the family really came together, and my mom's doing well. She just got a new dog. They got a rescue. They're doing the best they can, but mom's hanging in there. Good.
And you were just hanging out with some other Bravo favorites down in Nemacolin in Pennsylvania during the Masters. One, how well do you know the Southern Charm guys? And two, like, how did that all come about? Like, who planned that?
Yeah. Well, I met Shep before I was ever on Summer House.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
We have mutual friends from the Charleston area that I actually met Shep at a bar in New York like a year before I was ever on Bravo. And I was like, who the heck is this guy?
The natural reaction.
Yeah, we became friends after that. But then, over the years, obviously you get to know the male Bravo guys, maybe more than the female sometimes. I went to Watch What Happens Live with Shep one time. I hung out with Austin in New York. I did do a golf trip with them in Pebble Beach 2 years ago. So I've stayed close with them. There's a lot of similarities sometimes with the Shep and Austin and Carl.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did a little fun golf weekend in Nemacolin, which is like an hour outside of Pittsburgh, where I'm from. They actually filmed The Bachelor there.
They filmed that season, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool to see the backdrop. But yeah, golf. We shot guns. We did axe throwing. We bowled. It was just a real men's weekend.
Mm-hmm. So going into the season, I mean, like, I feel obviously season 4 for you was a tough one for a different reason. I think that, like, I feel like people weren't that friendly about you when it was airing. Like you got a lot of shit on social media from a lot of the Bravo fans. And I think that, like, seeing the place that you were in going into the season was so reassuring and so, like, because I mean, I've known you since season 1, and it's sort of like, I feel like you really sort of started to find your way going into this season. And I think on the show you pinpointed like a specific night out that sort of like was a moment of clarity for you. I would just love if you could elaborate on that and just sort of like the path that took you on, because I think a lot of people saw, even just literally from this first episode of season 5, it was like, oh, Carl is like in an amazing place. He seems very happy. And like, I would just love to hear from you and your words, because we get bits and pieces of it on the show. But
yeah, I mean, clearly, you've seen me. I'll never forget our first time we met. We sat down with you and we did like a little tape recording at a conference table at AOL, I think at the time.
Yeah, conference table. It was it was lo-fi.
I was still wet behind my ears at that point. But no, I mean, listen, I've grown a ton. I was 31 when season 1 started. Wow. I'm 36. So I think people just need to understand, this is kind of, I think, for me, has been a lot of formative years of growth. I clearly have done that on TV. Mm-hmm. I think watching yourself, I mean, even watching last season, I mean, I couldn't watch certain episodes because I was blacked out. I don't remember. Clearly social media and a lot of others had a lot to say, and I think a lot of it deserved. Mm-hmm. That was a big wake up call. I mean, reading all these different things, but truthfully, there was a moment February of 2020. My dad had visited New York. Obviously, when my dad comes, things have gotten emotional before. It had nothing to do with him, but I basically went on a bender shortly after my dad's visit, and Lindsay and Danielle were just really concerned, and they had expressed concern before, but it was that kind of moment where I had thought in my head I might lose them as friends based upon some of my behavior. And that really triggered a lot of just like, I gotta make some changes. So from that, it's still been a process. So what you saw at the beginning of season 5, I mean, obviously no one was really doing anything April through, all last summer, but
yeah, exactly.
I had taken some time from March to June and wasn't drinking. I was doing a lot of therapy, taking better care of myself. As in anybody going through a journey, I felt like I could moderate. So I started drinking more in the summer a little bit. Obviously came into the summer house, and it's difficult to navigate, but I felt really proud of how I handled myself. But, obviously when my brother passed, I was like, you know what, screw it. So after my brother passing and the rest of the summer, I moderated and I felt pretty good about it. But this fall and this winter, I was drinking a lot by myself, self-medicating and isolating a lot, which is actually wasn't really like me before. I was always out and about and drinking and partying. But this time I was actually like not answering my phone and staying inside.
Oh, wow.
And, I had the lowest point I've ever had. I didn't crash a car. I didn't punch anybody. It was the lowest I've ever hit in my life. And that was at the end of December, early January. And I made a decision. So I've actually been going to, I'm 99 days sober today.
Wow. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. And that's,
yes. So I'm feeling really good. And it was something, my brother, obviously addiction runs in my family. I was running away from some of the things I was just afraid of being open and honest about, and a lot of shame and guilt. And clearly you've seen some of my behavior on TV, and it's like, okay, I have actual evidence of myself behaving in a manner that I don't like, I don't think is my character. Let's do something about it. So I've been doing meetings. I have a sponsor. I've honestly, since doing the program and things since early January, having a foundation like that and finding others to relate to. especially in New York. It's a crazy city.
Sure. Here. Yeah, no. I was going to ask, because I feel like, I've just there's a kind of conversation happening right now, actually, because of the Demi Lovato documentary that has happened about sort of what I think sort of what you did in the summer, which was sort of you moderate yourself and you think you can sort of do it part way. And I think that's I've seen that conversation happening right now in pop culture. So your story is incredibly relevant to that as well. And I think for you to have that realization is very powerful. And it just shows, again, sort of the person that you've become. And I was curious sort of just for you, if you think about just the environment of Summer House, how would that is that triggering at all? Or is that something that you feel like you can, again, have that sort of self-control and kind of state of mind to just continue to have fun and stuff?
No, good question. Remember, these are my best friends. I've been doing summers with Kyle and Lindsay and even Danielle for 7 or 8 years at this point.
Right.
Some of the others 4 or 5 years. So they know me really well. And I think for me, a lot of times my drinking, my partying, it was a lot of times me drinking to medicate or me being uncomfortable or nervous in social situations. And I've learned to just be more comfortable, being a little more quiet, being a little more reserved, and not being the gregarious, loud, just who you may have seen me before. But it's definitely hard. There were some things this past summer that were triggering, I think, and bless everybody's hearts. It was just a weird dynamic. I love my friends. I wanted to be there after my brother's funeral. I felt like they were the best support group I could have on the earth.
100%. Yeah.
And there was moments where I'd hear, maybe Lindsay and Steven fighting, or I'd hear another nonsense thing going on. I'm like, really? You're really complaining? I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. But in their world, it's significant to them. And what was going on for me was very unique. So I understood a little bit of some of the things. And I tried to, I meditated every morning. They kind of show that on this summer.
You had your little porch there. That was a nice little moment of space for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had different things I would do to really try and hone in and just stay balanced. Now that I've really, I just don't think alcohol is for me. Mm-hmm. And so even in the last almost 4 months, spending more time with my friends and being social, but not drinking, and honestly having pretty good success with it. And not feeling, I just feel much better about it. And I think I've got the glow up to match it.
Hey, I'm not going to argue with that. I think a lot of people, and you just won that. Didn't you just win that competition on Instagram with the hottest guy on Bravo? Come on,
yes.
Carl, you have to wear that as a badge of honor.
I've been, that has gotten a lot of traction. The two judgy girls competition, because it's funny, last year and the 2 years before, they destroyed me, and I actually met them in person.
Oh yeah.
In California I was with Shep and Austin at the time. And I made the joke to them. I was like, listen, you guys really aren't you guys should be called two supportive women. Turn it on, because it's
rebrand.
Yeah. So we've
Wow.
become kind of friendly since then.
Good.
It was a cool competition. Obviously, I think there's a lot of other guys on Bravo that are, more deserving for sure.
No, but I think that like even just you take the results of that like kind of silly competition on Instagram, it's like to me that speaks directly to the changing attitudes around you with the audience as well. I mean, it's not like people have always loved you, but you just like you went through some rough patches on the show, and I think that like now it's like the level of support that I'm seeing for you in the show, off the show, on social media, it's like it honestly makes me kind of emotional just to watch it because it's like it's just so intensely supportive in a way that like it just must be kind of just like surreal for you. And what's your sort of relationship right now with the Bravo audience, with the Summer House viewers, because it must be pretty extremely positive.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, I mean, yeah, I've certainly had my moments and ups and downs. A lot of it deserved, no doubt. I feel like I've tried to use those moments to grow and to evolve. And I feel like the audience can see that over the years a little bit. And I think my friends' support of me has also been very helpful. I mean, Lindsay's had my back. Kyle has my back. I mean, they definitely, even through my worst of times, have really supported me. But the amount of messages and people I've connected to through this it's staggering. I mean, I'd wager any probably over 5,000 or 6,000 messages I've gotten specifically, hey, addiction, or I'm struggling, or mental health, all these different topics that are really connected with the Bravo audience that I didn't know I was going to be kind of this face for growth and change and how you can navigate difficult things. I certainly not worthy of it. I'm still growing and becoming a better person. So I want the Bravo audience to know I'm still human. Even with the Luke fight, I was incredibly embarrassed about that and really didn't like how that all played out. And so I don't know. I think the audience is going to find some things at some point to pick at, but I'm certainly so thankful. And it's amazing. I was going to say, I've connected with Captain Lee.
Wow.
So
cool.
Captain Lee's son, unfortunately passed from addiction issues. And we've been like best friends since.
That's awesome.
So we've been that's
really cool.
So another part of the Bravo family that for me, it makes it like you're not alone. And I felt like last summer after everything went down, I was like, am I the only guy on Bravo that's been mic'd up and filmed when he finds out someone passes away in their family? Like, clearly, I mean, it's a very unique situation, but now connecting with Captain Lee, I've even talked to Leah McSweeney, who's going through some of her own journey. Like, it's cool to kind of see what other doors have opened within the Bravo world where everybody's opening up their arms.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear, because I think sometimes we think about these shows as being very siloed, and then it's sort of, but it is like, you guys are part of this really kind of like, it really is a relatively small club of people that are on these shows. And so for you to be able to connect in that deeper way is really awesome. And, I don't want to, watching back what happened last summer was heartbreaking. I don't really need to get into that with you because we need to go down that road. But I do want to ask you just sort of about like the stuff that you've been doing with Shatterproof, because I feel like you are using, this platform that you have to raise awareness about all the things you just mentioned. But you're also walking the walk, and you're raising money, and it's awareness is great too, but money is even better for a lot of these things. And I'm just would love to hear from you just about like getting involved on that level with some of these different organizations and causes, because again, it's clearly something that, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And so for you to kind of like, embrace that in a positive way is really cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of found myself in this position. I feel like never more than ever I'm supposed to be in this moment where I'm being honest about our family story, being honest about my own journey. I have to be honest, because it's also going to hold me accountable by putting it out there so much. But at the same point, me going through my own journey, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not someone to really look up to. I really firmly believe that. So I needed a foundation or a support beyond my realm of expertise or understanding. And truthfully, I'm still learning and educating myself on addiction and stigma, resources, how you communicate with folks. Because I struggled with my brother's addiction for years of not understanding that he was actually sick. And Shatterproof has been an organization that is just so helpful, I think, to normalize conversations among family members, resources for people that want to kind of under the radar get help, which truthfully, I was doing that on my own, not necessarily just comfortable telling people. So I hope a combination of me being open and honest about my journey, sharing my brothers, but also having the support of Shatterproof, I think it just kind of amplifies all these eyeballs on our family, because it's been overwhelming. I mean, my mom's gotten messages and emails, and she's like, it's hard to read these. They're just so personal.
I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
So Shatterproof's just been a nice little kind of vehicle. I think they're more trained and they have, license and people that know what they're doing. And for me,
you're in the platform to point people that direction,
exactly.
And that's nice to go. What it's all about.
Yeah. Go visit Shatterproof, or, you're not alone. Here's a number you can call. Here's an Instagram handle. Just follow it. You never know what you'll see on your feed. So stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And just lastly about kind of these topics is like, I've interviewed Lindsay, Kyle, and Amanda, and also Sierra this season. And like, when the topic of you came up, it was like, they all just completely gushed about you. And like, in a way that just like, again, just like you've talked about the support from the fans, but I think like what was, even more amazing to see was like the immediate reaction of the people in the house with you. And just like I think obviously you guys being locked in this house for 6 weeks together was created for some conflict, but also I feel like created for an extra level of almost like like a vibe of like being in a family together. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but like to me, that's
so true.
Yeah. I wanted you to talk about just sort of like that feeling. Cause in past years, you guys get to leave and come back every week, and you're with each other for better or for worse,
Yeah. We were stuck with our thoughts. No, I mean, from top to bottom, everybody in the house was incredibly sweet and generous and so gentle to me. I mean, I can't even explain what was going through my head in that, those days there, but coming back after the funeral, I had so much confidence in my core group of friends that I could come back. I might have some ups and downs, but these are the people that are here to support me. And even Lindsay and Kyle, I mean, my two closest, friends on the show, but, clearly our friendships have grown so much. I mean, they've really saved my life in some ways. Lindsay has been so good to me and so supportive, but also tough love. And same with Kyle, same with the others. I mean, that tough love is something I didn't have. People would be like, oh, whatever, Carl, you're Carl. You can, I kind of got the pass a lot of times for my behavior. And I was able to make excuses, and having the friends also hold you accountable and really keep you in check. I mean, they shouldn't have to babysit you, and they were. Now they're kind of like, listen, if you can do these things and maintain it, like you can have all this great stuff. And I couldn't get out of my own way. And they've helped me see that. And they've helped me see that big time. So I'm forever indebted to Kyle and Lindsay and obviously the rest of the group.
But that tough love thing is so important. Is like just important for you to say that, because it's like that's who a real friend is going to tell you what you don't want to hear, and that's 100%. Clearly what Lindsay and Kyle are doing with you. So that's amazing.
No, they've. I mean, I talk about it. I'm not supposed to tease it, but on the reunion, you'll see me and Kyle share a moment that we had that wasn't on camera that was very pivotal for me in my growth and how we're doing. So
good. Well, to talk about some of that, like the drama on this season, I want to get your thoughts on some of it. You stayed out of a good amount of it. Obviously, you and Luke,
for the first time ever.
Yeah, right. I mean, like I'm proud of you, I guess. But
thank you.
The fight with Luke, I think, is probably the biggest thing that you were sort of involved in, and that was probably the biggest, explosive fight that we've seen on Summer House in 5 seasons, I want to say. Can you think of one that's bigger than that? Because I can't really. In terms of just pure like energy,
Yeah, pure explosive energy. That one. The other that comes to mind was the watermelon throw from the
Twins.
My
God.
And I was FaceTiming a friend, and they were eavesdropping through my door, and they flipped out. That was intense because I was on the other side of the gang up.
Right.
And again, some deserve, some not. But yeah, the Luke stuff it's hard to explain. I think going into that summer, I think we all were like, what's going on with Luke and Hannah? I think it sounded like they were just friends to us.
Yeah.
And
maybe not to everyone.
We were just exhausted, I think, of talking about the Luke and Hannah situation. And truthfully, it boiled over in a way that I wasn't proud of. Luke has been so good to me as a friend. I mean, I know he's had his misgivings, and I think he's learned. And me and Kyle, truthfully, were just trying to show him the light of, hey man, like, even though you don't think you did lead Hannah on, you did. And you need to like not dismiss her feelings and try to work through it and be a better man to the house. Obviously it didn't come across as planned, but the weirdest thing happens when guys like us get in fights. It actually brought us a lot closer, even more than the fight last season when I got it at the batting cage. I was pissed about the rock climbing date. Those are stupid instances. I I feel bad the way we approached Luke, but I also think for Luke, it was impressive. And I'm really happy that he was able to kind of be vulnerable and share some of his darker stuff. Cause truthfully, up until that point with Luke, it was all fluff and, he's doing his thing.
It was all about Hannah and stuff like that. Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I get it. Like you join a new group of friends, it's hard to get your word in. And so for me and Kyle to see another guy in this group of friends actually like have to own up to his mistakes, be vulnerable and really address the elephant in the room, I think was like, I'm so proud of him. I mean, obviously it's tough,
totally,
but that's what moves our friendships along and helps us grow.
For sure. And then, I talked to Sierra last week, I think it was, or a week or two ago. And she, you guys did have a little bit of like, I don't know if it was sexual tension or just like you had a sort of vibe between you guys. And I don't really know like what that connection was, but for you, like, was there sort of like that romantic vibe between you and Sierra or what, describe your relationship? Because there definitely was a hint of that.
I mean, Sierra's gorgeous. There's no doubt about it. But here, from my perspective, all I see is Sierra and Luke is my friend.
Right.
And for me, I would just never cross that line. Now, when Sierra walks in the door, I was like, holy cow. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous. She's got a smile that lights up the room. I wanted to make her feel comfortable, make her feel welcome. And I've tried to do that generally with most of our new friends. But, I think once I learned she had been a nurse and working her rear end off and going through really difficult times, and I was like, you know what? I just wanted her to feel comfortable and feel welcome in the house. I think some of that energy obviously comes across as sexual for sure. Cause I'm a flirt and she is too a little bit.
Right.
But I
then they're just good friends.
I just think we're friends. I think it's just better that way for my respectful friendship with Luke. And it sounds like Sierra's got some other things going on too. So I'm happy for her.
It does seem that way. And, you've been hanging out with the Southern Charm guys, so you might have some more info on that than I don't. But
I try to stay out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. What about? I mean, because you just said Lindsay's one of your oldest and best friends in this cast, and she came into the season in a very serious relationship, and she's obviously not in that relationship anymore. So what was it like, sort of seeing her go through that as well? Because it was obviously topsy turvy with Steven and Lindsay. But I mean, I'm sure that we all want to see Lindsay end up with somebody amazing that will treat her the way that she wants to be treated. But as her really good friend, what was that like for you to see her go through that? Yeah,
I mean, it was interesting to watch for sure, because interesting to see firsthand. I mean, if you guys remember season 4, I was dating her, so to speak, and not only 2 weeks later, she had a boyfriend, and his name was Steven. So I think people kind of forget how quickly I did forget that. Yeah. How quickly they jumped into that. And again, she seemed really happy. I don't think Stravi's a bad guy at all. I mean, I think he's a good dude. At the end of the day, what I've experienced with them from the end of season 4 and then that whole year, I saw different things, just personality and just kind of just vibes that didn't seem like they matched. Lindsay's, again, obviously very outgoing and loves to laugh and loves to have jokes and just has a lot of personality. We all love Lindsay for that. And Steven's incredibly reserved, as we saw in season 5, very quiet. And I think some of those personality traits, just in the end of the day, we all looked at it and kind of questioned some of it. But then, I was like, you know what, give him a shot, come into the house and see what happens. And it's a tough situation to walk into for Steven. I get that, but I kind of thought that it wasn't going to work out anyway going in. So I was pretty much reminded of what I already had thought.
It was sort of like a ticking time bomb a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being a couple in the house, as we've always seen, is not easy. And I think being in the house actually just actually showed everybody the problems that they had been having and just were too afraid to address.
Yeah. And Carl, I'm still like thinking about like the summer. Whenever I interview you guys, I keep on thinking about sort of like those early days, because like it feels like it was a different show, like, I mean, it partially was, it was half the cast, or more than half the cast was different. And I think with season 3, like new life was sort of brought into the show, and it's like been on this trajectory ever since that. Like, obviously the premise always had such promise, but like you guys needed to find the right group of people in this house. And then I'm curious, just like for you, how do you look back on sort of like the evolution of this show? Because it's found its footing in a way that like has made it, I think, the best show on Bravo about young people, with a younger cast. And like, just talk to me because you've been a part of it since the beginning, and it's been amazing.
No, like trust me, I appreciate what you say at the beginning, because some of us, and it's just the nature of being on a show that, carries on as long as this, is obviously you're going to have changes and things are going to evolve. But for us as the OGs, I mean, it's been a hell of a journey, man.
Yeah.
Like that first summer, I still remember getting my company car with Kyle, picked him up at his Soho apartment. He had his speakers, and I was like, are we really doing this? Like, is this going to happen? Like, he was like, yes, like we're doing this, and never really looked back. But like, I guess each season's kind of had its finding its way. And I think we've been very fortunate having the younger audience that I think there is an appetite for that. Nothing against the Housewives or $1 Million Listing or some of these shows that maybe skew a little bit older. I think we've been very lucky that Bravo's given us a benefit of the doubt and the shot year after
Absolutely.
year. I feel like after season 2, we were cooked.
I was nervous for you guys. I really was.
I was too. After that reunion, I was like, I don't think Andy doesn't really like us. We're not. But again, as you said, I mean, as with any summer house, and this is I think the best part about our show, is the core thread is a group of friends bust their butt during the week, have fun in New York City, but also go out to the Hamptons. And like, I think Bravo really loved and bought into that group of friends mentality. And like any group of friends, you're going to have some changes. The twins, bless their hearts, no longer a part of it. Steven, it all worked out, I think, for the benefit. I mean, having Hannah and Paige come in was great. I mean, amazing. Yeah. So yeah, the changes I think have been good. I mean, honestly, I can't believe we're talking season 5 still.
I know. And it's like, to me, it's like, I mean, knock on wood, it's like, you guys don't show any signs of slowing down. And it's sort of like, you speak to sort of like you guys as the OGs, and to me, it also just speaks to sort of like you, Kyle and Lindsay, just like you guys as sort of like this core connective tissue of like everyone that we're seeing on this show. Like you guys were the right people to keep around and the right people to like to sort of branch off from, because it's clearly paying off. So I don't know. It's just cool to like again, like you said, after season 2, I was nervous. That reunion was very dark, right? Like that was
dark. Well, it was a dark season. I think
yes.
One thing I want to remind our listeners, and you may as well know this, but what's really helped our show is after season, and this is by no means a dig at our producers, but I equate it to like playing on a sports team.
Yeah.
A group of our friends is kind of like a team or a family, but we also needed leadership and coaching. And our producers season 3 through the last season 3, season 4, and season 5 have been the same. The core producers have been the same. And I think that also allows the cast to trust each other. But just having like a great production team and everybody working together, like it's a hard show to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Going back and forth every weekend and dealing with the Hamptons in general is always kind of tricky. But I think what's really helped us is Kyle, Lindsay, and I, like, we really go out there. We really live and we've done the Hamptons, and we're connected to folks out there, and we try to bring other folks in. And it's been a hell of a ride. I will say, I feel like we do the best job of self-promoting Summer House.
Yeah, I agree.
Up until this year, I feel like Bravo's now, doing some more marketing for us, but it's been a crazy ride. I'm so happy we're here,
Yeah. I love how like you guys kind of like hold on to some of like that like iPhone camera and video footage, and like we slowly get it released throughout the season. Like I think that's a nice touch that you guys do. And I mean, wrapping up, you mentioned that work is going really well, and I think that Loverboy has been a really good part of your life as well. And I feel like that's brought some like really good energy of like you and Kyle working together, and just like having that to like pour some of your energy into. Give me an update on Loverboy, because I got one from Kyle and Amanda. I know you guys have the espresso martini coming, which is I think you're getting some. I need to get some, so I better be getting some. But what's that? I mean, what's that been like for you? Because again, it seems like it's really working.
Yeah, I mean, it's professionally, I'm in the best place I've been in a long time. Having Kyle and Amanda, they've given me tons of opportunities, and certainly I've been proving myself. But I'm the VP of sales for Loverboy. I'm happy as hell about that. I mean, I've worked really hard. I mean, from not working at all. I mean, I was basically just working pro bono and putting in all my blood, sweat, and tears. And for them to kind of see what I've been doing and the role that I can play is just gives me a lot of like responsibility and structure. And having that structure and responsibility for me is something I've needed. I wake up every morning and I'm fired up, like I'm ready to go. and obviously matching Kyle's passion and energy, and Amanda's putting in all their heart and soul into it. So I don't know, it's been so much fun. It's really hard too. I don't want to sugarcoat like we're just like sitting around all day. I mean, Kyle was emailing me last night at 2:15 in the morning. He was up that late. We have to.
Not surprised. Yeah. So. And like, I see you guys like going on like site, like you go to visit like certain like sites and then stores and things. And like, that's really how you have to do it, which is, you know,
I mean, people are blown away that I have shown up to like a Total Wine or a beer distributor or a bar. I had a store, a bar owner in Long Beach. She's a female bar owner. She has a manager who runs the place. The manager was like, "Oh, what's this? I don't really care, whatever." Woman comes down. She's like, "Is that Carl?" Like,
hey, like that must help you guys. Honestly, it's like that. Well, that's a huge boom for you. Yeah.
I mean, the founder of White Claw and the founder of Truly, or one of the partners of those companies, would never walk into the places that we're walking into. Mm-hmm. And that's what's fun for us is we're building a brand, and Kyle and I and Amanda actually doing the thing day to day. I mean, bless all the housewives' hearts, but we're not just slapping our name on a can of juice and saying it's
this is a legit. I mean, I think it's like business. This is a legit business that was born that shows you guys capitalizing on the platform that you're getting from the show, and like that's exactly what everyone should be doing on these shows, to be honest. And it's like you guys are doing it really, but it's hard.
I was just saying, but if you obviously have seen every episode since day one. I mean, if you pay close attention. Seasons 1 and 2 towards the end, season 1 towards the end and season 2, you'll see us drinking White Claw and Truly.
Really?
And we were going through this, like we supplied our own groceries at the summer house. We buy our own fresh, bought our own Fresh Direct. So we were in control of what alcohol we could bring in. And we were like,
why not?
Literally drinking sugary drinks, and why not do something of our own that applies what Kyle and Amanda love to do, which is be colorful, be loud, be social, all that stuff. So
it's very natural. Yeah, it's genius. It's
almost like Tom Tom for Vanderpump. I mean, it kind of
it really is.
World.
It really is,
cool.
but it's not relying on it, which is also really good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it can stand on its own.
Exactly. Well, Carl, this has been really fun. We can expect the Summer House reunion after this finale. This is going to air on finale day.
Okay.
But it's been a great 5-season run already. So lastly, I would just love to hear about, like, I assume this is something that you want to continue to do, like this has been such a great experience for you. And I think everyone's just like fallen in love with you. I assume, is this something that you want to just continue to put some energy into?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 36. I think I'm actually really excited about the prospect of another summer with everybody. And last year was just very different, obviously for a lot of reasons, but I'm excited to show everybody, the growth I've even had since what you've seen this year. And I think you'll see some on the reunion, which is great. But if I'm doing this when I'm 40, then we'll have a conversation. But Kyle's got 2 more years until he's 40. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, don't hang up your coat before that. All right.
No, we got some more time. I think it'd be great to see me in a relationship.
Yes.
While being sober and being in a good place. And I hope I can do that this summer. I needed some time I didn't think it'd be right to start dating people when I'm like still healing a little bit and trying to process.
Focus on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's starting to get warmer.
The energy's out there in New York City. I'm feeling it.
Yes. So I definitely want to start dating. So it'd be fun, I think, for people to see Lindsay get into another relationship, me, Kyle and Amanda actually be married, all that good stuff.
That'd be really fun. Yeah. Well, Carl, where can people follow you outside of the show? Where can people follow Loverboy? Do your plugs before we sign off.
Yeah. You can find me on all social platforms at Carl Radke, CarlRadke. Drinkloverboy.com. We got our spritz, which is direct to consumer online. It ships to 44 states. And if you like our hard teas, we're in about 10 states. Check our website. You can see where they're located. That's what I focus on.
Love it.
But yeah, Summer House is Thursday nights at 9. Season 5 is the best. Thanks.
It is. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Carl. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. For more celebrity interviews, subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review us, as any show of support you can give us would be greatly appreciated. You can follow me at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow In The Know at In The Know on Twitter and at Watch In The Know on Instagram. We'll talk to you next time.